What if I told you the very advice you've been given your whole life, the one line you've heard over and over again, might be the very thing that's holding you back? You've been told, don't take it personally, don't take it to heart, don't let it bother you, walk away, forget about it, move on. That sounds like wisdom, doesn't it? But here's the truth, that phrase is poison. It's teaching you to disconnect from the very fuel that could push you to the next level of your life. Think about it. Every time someone doubted you, every time someone disrespected you, every time someone told you that you weren't good enough, you were told not to take it personally. But what if that was the moment you should have taken it personally? What if that moment was your chance to feel the sting, the burn, the weight of it, and then rise up with a fire so strong that nothing could stop you? Why do we run from discomfort? Why do we pretend words don't hurt us? That rejection doesn't cut deep? That failure doesn't keep us awake at night? Of course it does. And it should. Because those moments are signals, they're invitations to step up, to grow, to prove that you're stronger than you think. The problem is most people are numb. They've built this wall between themselves and reality, and they call it not taking things personally. But in reality, what they're doing is hiding. You see, the difference between the person who succeeds and the person who stays stuck isn't talent, luck, or opportunity. It's what they do when the world tells them no. Do they ignore it and move on, or do they take it personally and let it ignite something inside of them? The greatest leaders, the most successful people, the ones who changed the world, they all had something in common. They took things personally. They let rejection fuel their discipline. They let failure sharpen their focus. They let pain push them toward greatness. So let me ask you, when someone tells you you're not enough, do you just brush it off? Or do you let it hit you so hard that it shakes something awake inside of you? When you fall short, do you cover it up with excuses, or do you take it personally and demand more from yourself? This is not about being fragile. This is not about letting everything break you. It's about choosing to let the right things build you. Because when you take it personally, you stop running, you stop blaming, you stop waiting, and you start owning every piece of your story. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to stop living numb and start living fueled, then stay with me. Because today I'm going to show you why you must take it personally if you ever want to build strength, power, and unshakable success. People love to say, don't take it personally. It's become one of the most overused pieces of advice in the world. You hear it at work, in relationships, in school, everywhere. When someone criticizes you, when you get rejected, when you fail, they tell you to shrug it off, keep moving, and don't let it bother you. But let me ask you something. How is that working out for you? Has ignoring the sting of rejection ever made you stronger? Has pretending you're not hurt ever pushed you to the next level? Or has it just made you numb, complacent, and stuck in the same place? Here's the truth. Most people don't want to admit every single one of us takes things personally, whether we like it or not. Words cut, actions sting, failure hurts. But instead of embracing those feelings and using them as fuel, people pretend it doesn't matter. They build walls, they deflect, they laugh it off, they say, I don't care, but they do care. And that's not weakness, that's being human. The weakness comes from pretending you don't care and then doing nothing about it. When you shrug things off, you lose the gift that comes with those painful moments. That sting you feel when someone doubts you, that burn you feel when you fail. That isn't something to hide from, it's a signal. It's your body and your mind telling you, pay attention, this matters. Do something about it. If you brush it off, you ignore the very thing that could push you toward growth. You silence the fire before it even sparks. Think about the people you admire, the ones who built something great in their lives. Do you really think they got there by ignoring rejection? Do you think they shrugged off every insult, every failure, every loss? No, they took it personally. They let it cut deep enough that it woke something inside of them. They let the pain fuel their hunger. When someone told them, you're not good enough, they didn't smile and walk away. They said, watch me. They turned the doubt of others into undeniable proof of their own power. You see, when you stop shrugging things off, you start paying attention. You start holding yourself accountable. If someone says you're not disciplined, don't get defensive and brush it off. Ask yourself, am I? If someone tells you that you can't do it, don't just laugh and ignore it. Sit with it, let it burn. Then ask yourself, what would it take to prove them wrong? That's how growth happens, not by running from the sting, but by leaning into it. The problem is most people are too afraid to feel uncomfortable. They want to move on quickly, numb the pain, escape the sting. But comfort never made anyone strong. Growth is supposed to feel uncomfortable. Rejection is supposed to hurt. Failure is supposed to sting. That's what makes you learn. That's what forces you to grow. If you shrug it off, you rob yourself of that lesson. There's also another side to this. When you shrug things off, you let people walk all over you. If someone disrespects you and you pretend it doesn't matter, you've just told them it's okay. If someone underestimates you and you laugh it off, you've just accepted their opinion of you. But when you take it personally, when you let it mean something, you find the courage to set boundaries, to prove yourself, to rise above. Taking it personally isn't weakness. It's the first step to taking ownership of your life. Now, some of you might be thinking, but if I take everything personally, won't I be too sensitive? Won't I get overwhelmed? Here's the difference. You don't take it personally to play the victim. You take it personally to become the warrior. The victim gets crushed by rejection, insult, or failure. The warrior uses it as fuel. The victim asks, why me? The warrior says, try me. That's the shift. That's the strength. And here's the challenge I want you to think about. The next time someone doubts you, instead of brushing it off, write it down, feel it, stare at it, let it bother you, then turn it into a plan. Use that sting to sharpen your focus. Use that doubt as a reason to work harder, smarter, longer. Stop saying, I don't care. Start saying, I care enough to prove myself. Because if you keep shrugging things off, you stay average. You stay stuck in the same patterns, the same comfort zone, the same life. But when you decide to take it personally, you unlock a fire that most people never touch. You begin to see every rejection as motivation, every insult as energy, every failure as a lesson. That is the difference between people who settle and people who rise. So stop shrugging things off. Stop pretending you don't care. Stop hiding from the very things that are meant to build you. Take it personally, own it, and then use it to become stronger than anyone ever thought you could be. Because the truth is, the things that sting you the most are the very things that will shape you into the person you were meant to be. Accountability is one of those words people love to throw around but rarely live by. Everyone says they want success. Everyone says they want growth. Everyone says they're hungry for more. But the moment life doesn't go their way, the excuses start pouring in. Suddenly, it's their boss's fault. It's the economy's fault. It's because they didn't get the right support or the right timing or the right chance. People are quick to point fingers at everything and everyone except the one person who truly holds the power to change it all themselves. That is where accountability comes in. Accountability means you stop passing the blame. It means you stop hiding behind circumstances. It means you stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. Accountability is ownership. Ownership of your actions, ownership of your choices, ownership of your habits, your effort, your discipline, your results. The moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Most people don't want to hear this because accountability is uncomfortable. It forces you to admit that where you are right now is exactly where you've chosen to be. The shape of your body, the size of your bank account, the strength of your relationships, the quality of your character, those are all reflections of the choices you've made day after day. And that's not easy to swallow. It's much more comfortable to say life isn't fair than to admit I didn't put in the work. It's much easier to say they didn't support me than to admit I didn't follow through. But comfort has never built greatness. Ownership does. When you live without accountability, you live in denial. You trick yourself into thinking you're doing all you can when you're really holding back. You convince yourself you're unlucky when really you're undisciplined. You tell yourself stories to protect your ego instead of facing the truth that would set you free. Accountability strips away those lies. It holds a mirror in front of you and forces you to ask, am I really giving it everything, or am I coasting? Am I showing up with everything I've got, or am I half-stepping, hoping for results without the sacrifice? Here's the beauty of accountability. Once you own everything, you also gain the power to change everything. If your failures are always someone else's fault, you'll never fix them because you can't change other people. But if your failures are yours, then you can transform them. If your lack of results is yours, then you can improve it. If your bad habits are yours, then you can break them. Ownership doesn't weigh you down. It frees you because it hands you the wheel. Now you're not a passenger in your own life. You're the driver. Think about the strongest leaders, the most successful athletes, the people who achieve what seems impossible. What separates them from everyone else isn't just talent, it's accountability. They don't wait to be motivated. They don't wait for someone to remind them. They don't make excuses when they fall short. They hold themselves to a higher standard than anyone else ever could. They don't say, I'll try. They say, it's on me. And when it's on you, failure stops being the end. It becomes fuel. The truth is, accountability is not glamorous. No one sees the hours you spend grinding when no one is watching. No one applauds you for keeping your promises to yourself. No one claps when you resist the temptation to quit. Accountability is a private war you fight within yourself every single day. It's the alarm clock at 5 a.m. that no one else hears. It's the decision to do one more rep when your body is screaming to stop. It's the choice to take ownership even when it would be so much easier to point the finger. But it's also the foundation of every lasting achievement you will ever have. There's something powerful that happens when you stop running from responsibility. You stop being fragile, because if it's always someone else's fault, then you are always at the mercy of others. You become a victim of circumstance. But when you take accountability, nothing outside of you has the final say. Your boss can underestimate you. The economy can hit, people can doubt you, and still you own your next move. Still you own your discipline. Still you own your response. That makes you untouchable. That makes you strong. Let me put it this way. Accountability is about keeping promises to yourself. If you say you're going to wake up early, do it. If you say you're going to hit the gym, do it. If you say you're going to launch that project, follow through. Stop breaking promises to yourself, because every time you do, you weaken your trust in your own word. And if you can't trust yourself, how can you expect anyone else to trust you? Accountability builds inner integrity, the kind of integrity no one else sees but everyone feels. Here's the challenge from this moment on: stop blaming and start owning. Look at your life and ask yourself, where have I been making excuses? Where have I been blaming others? Where have I been hiding from responsibility? Be brutally honest. And then decide no more. This is on me. My success, my failure, my habits, my discipline, mine. When you make that shift, something inside of you transforms. You go from waiting for change to creating change. You go from powerless to powerful. Accountability is not about beating yourself up. It's not about shame or guilt. It's about power. It's about recognizing that no one is coming to save you, so you save yourself. No one is coming to push you, so you push yourself. No one is coming to hand you success, so you build it brick by brick through your own sweat and sacrifice. And when you finally hold that success in your hands, when you finally stand on that stage, when you finally see the results you worked for, you will know it was all you, and nothing feels stronger than that. So remember this: accountability is ownership. Ownership of your life, ownership of your choices, ownership of your future. Stop blaming, stop waiting, stop handing your power to everyone and everything else. Take it back, hold it, live by it. Because when you own your life, you control your destiny. And that right there is the ultimate power. Criticism and doubt are two things that everyone faces, but very few know how to use. Most people crumble under them. They hear someone question their abilities, and suddenly they start questioning themselves. They face rejection, and instantly they shrink back, convinced they're not enough. Doubt and criticism can become shackles that keep people stuck in mediocrity for their entire lives. But here's the truth: they don't have to be chains. They can be fuel. They can be the fire that sharpens you, strengthens you, and drives you further than you ever imagined. The difference lies in how you choose to respond. When someone criticizes you, it's easy to get defensive. It's easy to take it as an attack on your worth, as if their words have the power to define you, but their words don't define you, you do. Criticism is nothing more than feedback, and how you use that feedback determines whether you grow or collapse. Some criticism will be destructive, born out of jealousy, fear, or ignorance, and some criticism will be constructive, pointing out blind spots you couldn't see for yourself. Both are useful if you know how to handle them. Destructive criticism teaches you to develop thicker skin, to stop letting people's opinions control your emotions. Constructive criticism gives you insights you can use to improve. Either way, you win. Doubt works the same way. People will doubt you because they can't see your vision, they can't understand your drive, they can't imagine your potential because they're limited by their own. And sometimes that doubt even comes from within. You'll question yourself. You'll hear that voice in your head asking, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I'm not enough? That inner doubt can feel crippling if you let it dominate you. But here's the secret: doubt is not the enemy. Doubt is the invitation to grow. Doubt is the test that asks, how badly do you want this? How much are you willing to endure to prove yourself? Instead of running from criticism and doubt, learn to lean into them. When someone tells you that you can't, smile and think, watch me. When someone criticizes your effort, use it as a spotlight to find where you can improve. When you doubt yourself, reframe it, not as a signal to quit, but as a reminder that you are stepping into new territory, that you are growing. Because doubt only shows up when you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. Nobody doubts themselves while doing the same safe, easy thing they've always done. Doubt is proof that you are stretching, that you are reaching for more. Think about every great figure in history. Leaders, innovators, athletes, creators. Every single one of them faced doubt and criticism. They were told their ideas wouldn't work, their talent wasn't enough, their goals were too big, their dreams were impossible. And yet what separated them from everyone else was not that the criticism stopped, it's that they didn't let it stop them. They turned it into momentum. They let the sting of doubt fuel their persistence. They used rejection as training. They allowed every no, every laugh, every insult to add wood to their fire until it burned so brightly that no one could ignore it. There's a certain power that comes when you stop fearing criticism. You begin to understand that criticism is inevitable. No matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. You can play it safe, hide in the background, and still people will find a reason to criticize you. Or you can step into the arena, risk failure, risk judgment, and at least earn criticism for trying to live boldly. Either way, the criticism is coming. So why not live in a way that makes it worth it? The same goes for doubt. People may doubt you, but that's not really about you. It's about them. It's about their fears, their insecurities, their lack of imagination. Don't take it personally. Instead, let it fuel you. When they say you can't, hear it as you must. When they say it's impossible, hear it as it's worth proving wrong. When they doubt you, use it as a challenge to build so much evidence through your actions that their doubt becomes irrelevant. The best response to doubt is undeniable results. Even your own self-doubt can be turned into fuel if you use it correctly. That inner voice questioning you can push you to prepare harder, to refine your craft, to go the extra mile. Self-doubt can keep you humble, grounded, and hungry. The danger isn't doubt itself, it's surrendering to it. Doubt becomes destructive only when you allow it to paralyze you, but when you use it as a signal to double down, to sharpen yourself, to keep moving forward, it becomes your ally. So the next time criticism comes, don't shrink, study it. Ask yourself, is there truth here that can help me get better, or is this just noise I need to rise above? Either way, you come out stronger. And the next time doubt whispers in your ear, don't let it silence you. Let it remind you that you're in the fight, that you're on the path of growth, that you're chasing something worth the struggle. Doubt doesn't mean stop. It means keep going. Here's the bottom line. Criticism and doubt are not weights meant to drag you down. They are weights meant to build your strength. They are resistance training for your mind, your spirit, your resolve. If you use them right, they will not break you. They will make you unbreakable. So stop running from criticism. Stop fearing doubt. Stand in it. Use it. Let it push you harder. Let it sharpen your edge. Let it fuel the fire inside you. Because the people who rise, the ones who achieve greatness, are not the ones who never face criticism or doubt. They're the ones who turn it into power. And that is exactly what you must do if you want to live unstoppable. Rejection and failure are two of the most painful experiences we encounter, but they are also two of the most powerful teachers we will ever face. Most people treat rejection like a wall, something that blocks their way, makes them turn back, and convinces them that they aren't good enough. They treat failure like a final verdict, as if it stamps them with the label of not capable or not worthy. But the truth is, rejection and failure are not the end of the road. They are the beginning of a better one. They are the raw material from which greatness is built. How you handle them determines whether you stay stuck or whether you rise. Think about rejection for a moment. It stings because it feels personal. You wanted something, you put yourself out there. You risked being seen, and someone said no. Someone decided you weren't the right fit, the right choice, or the right person. It hurts, but it also reveals something important. You tried. You didn't sit back. You didn't hide. You stepped into the arena. And that is already more than most people will ever do. Every rejection proves you had the courage to show up. It proves you were willing to risk. And risk is the price of growth. If you never face rejection, it means you are not pushing far enough, you are not reaching high enough, and you are not testing your limits. Failure carries the same lesson. It is often painted as shameful, as if failing means you lacked the skill, the intelligence, or the worthiness to succeed. But failure is nothing more than feedback. It tells you where you went wrong, what you need to adjust, and what you need to strengthen. It gives you a roadmap for improvement if you are brave enough to listen. Failure doesn't say, you are not enough. It says, here's where you can grow. And the ones who rise in life are not the ones who avoid failure, but the ones who fail forward, who take the lessons, refine their approach, and come back sharper than before. The reason so many people stay stuck after rejection and failure is because they internalize it. They make it about their identity instead of their process. They think, I failed, therefore I am a failure. I was rejected, therefore I am unworthy. That mindset kills potential before it has the chance to bloom. The truth is, rejection and failure don't define you. They refine you. They strip away illusions. They harden your resolve. They sharpen your skill set. If you let them, they build a version of you that is far stronger than the one who never experienced setbacks at all. Look at every great success story, and you'll find a trail of rejections and failures leading up to it. The athlete who lost game after game before finally breaking through. The entrepreneur who was told no hundreds of times before someone finally said yes. The artist who had doors slammed in their face before their work was ever celebrated. Rejection and failure were not detours for them, they were part of the path. And that is the shift in perspective you must adopt. Rejection is redirection and failure is education. Together they are not obstacles, they are stepping stones. It is not easy to rise through them. Rejection can make you feel invisible, unwanted, unworthy. Failure can make you feel humiliated, defeated, broken. But if you can learn to sit with the pain without letting it poison you, you will discover that those experiences carry the seeds of strength. Pain is not the enemy, it's the evidence that you are alive, growing, and daring greatly. Every no can either break your confidence or build your persistence. Every failure can either paralyze you or prepare you. The choice is always yours. One of the most important shifts you can make is to stop asking, why me, when rejection and failure show up, and start asking, what is this teaching me? That question turns defeat into training. It shifts your perspective from victimhood to growth. Suddenly, rejection becomes not a punishment, but protection. It may be steering you away from the wrong path towards something better. Failure becomes not humiliation, but instruction. It shows you the gaps you need to close in order to succeed next time. The truth is, people who rise are not those who never fall. They are those who fall and keep getting back up. They are the ones who refuse to let rejection define their worth and refuse to let failure define their future. They use every closed door as motivation to build a stronger one of their own. They use every failed attempt as fuel for the next. They rise not because it's easy, but because staying down is not an option. So the next time rejection knocks on your door, don't see it as the end. See it as proof that you are in the fight, that you are reaching beyond the ordinary. And the next time you fail, don't see it as the death of your dream. See it as the training ground for your resilience. Rejection and failure are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to forge you into someone unstoppable. Remember this. Diamonds are not formed without pressure, and warriors are not made without battles. Rejection and failure are your pressure, your battle, your fire. They are the necessary forces shaping you into the person who can handle the success you are chasing. If you can rise through them, if you can endure the sting, extract the lesson, and keep moving forward, you will become the kind of person who is not just successful, but unshakable. So don't fear rejection. Don't fear failure. Fear staying the same. Fear wasting your potential because you are too afraid to risk, too afraid to fall, too afraid to try. Rise every time you're knocked down. And one day you will look back and realize that rejection and failure weren't your enemies. They were your greatest allies. Pain is one of the few guarantees in life. At some point, every single one of us will face it through heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, loss, or even the quiet battles that no one else sees. Most people fear pain, avoid it, run from it, or bury it deep inside, hoping it will disappear. But here's the truth, pain never truly disappears. It transforms. And whether it transforms into weakness that breaks you or into power that builds you, that choice is yours to make. When pain strikes, it feels like everything inside you is shattering. It's heavy, it's suffocating, and it convinces you that you'll never escape. But if you can pause for a moment and recognize what pain really is, you'll start to see it differently. Pain is information. It's a signal that something is demanding your attention. It forces you to stop living on autopilot and confront what is real. It strips away the illusions and the distractions and lays bare the truth of who you are, what you value, and how strong you really are. It becomes a mirror, reflecting not just your wounds, but your capacity to heal and rise. The difference between those who are broken by pain and those who are built by it is mindset. Some people take pain and let it poison them. They allow bitterness, resentment, and self-pity to take root. They tell themselves the story of being a victim, of being unlucky, of being cursed. And with every repetition of that story, they shrink. They give their power away to the very pain they hate. But others make a different choice. They decide, if I have to endure this, then I will use it. I will turn this pain into fuel. I will not let it define me. I will let it drive me. That shift transforms suffering into strength. Think about some of the strongest people you've ever met or admired. Many of them didn't become powerful in spite of their pain. They became powerful because of it. The heartbreak taught them what love really means. The betrayal sharpened their instincts. The failure humbled them, but also toughened their will. The loss carved out a depth in them that made them more empathetic, more resilient, and more relentless. Pain, when harnessed correctly, is not the end of your story. It's the catalyst for your transformation. Turning pain into power begins with acknowledgement. Too many people numb themselves, pretending they're fine, distracting themselves with noise, work, substances, or meaningless pursuits. But unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It festers, it resurfaces in anger, insecurity, destructive habits, and broken relationships. You can't heal what you refuse to face. Facing your pain means sitting with it, listening to it, and asking, what is this trying to teach me? That question flips the script. Suddenly, pain stops being an enemy and starts becoming a teacher. Once you acknowledge it, the next step is to redirect it. Anger, grief, disappointment, these are powerful forces of energy. Left unmanaged, they destroy. But when channeled, they create. Athletes channel the pain of failure into training harder than ever. Leaders channel the pain of injustice into fighting for change. Ordinary people channel the pain of loss into building lives of deeper meaning. Your pain contains raw energy, and energy is power, if you decide to put it into motion. It's also important to recognize that pain builds resilience. Every time you survive something you thought would break you, you grow stronger. That strength isn't visible on the outside, but it becomes part of your core. You start to realize that you can endure more than you thought. You begin to carry yourself differently, with quiet confidence, because you know you have walked through fire and survived. That resilience becomes your foundation, the thing you can stand on when the storms come again, because they will. Pain is not a one-time visitor, it's a recurring part of life. But resilience ensures it never defeats you the same way twice. Pain also creates empathy and connection. When you've suffered deeply, you recognize the suffering of others more clearly. You carry wisdom and compassion that can't be learned from books or lectures, only from lived experience. And when you choose to use that empathy, you don't just rise alone, you help lift others. That is another way pain transforms into power. It expands your influence and your ability to inspire, guide, and support those around you. But perhaps the greatest power pain gives you is clarity. It strips away what doesn't matter. When you've lost, when you've hurt, when you've been brought to your knees, you stop wasting energy on the trivial. You begin to see what is essential. Your purpose, your relationships, your values. Pain forces you to ask, what am I really here for? What really matters to me? And once you have that clarity, you live with a sense of urgency and purpose that no comfort zone can ever provide. Make no mistake, transforming pain into power is not easy. It requires courage to confront it, patience to endure it, and discipline to use it. But once you do, you discover that pain is not your enemy, it's your training ground. It's the weight you lift to build inner strength. It's the fire that forges your character. It's the storm that strengthens your roots. Without pain, there is no growth, no depth, no power. So the next time pain enters your life, don't run, don't numb it, don't pretend it's not there. Look it in the eye and say, you will not break me, you will build me. Use it as fuel. Channel it into your goals, transform it into wisdom, resilience, and clarity. Let it be the reason you rise higher, stand taller, and fight harder. Because at the end of the day, your pain is not what defines you, your power is. And the bridge between the two is the choice you make in how you respond. Turn your pain into power, and nothing in this world, not rejection, not failure, not betrayal, not loss, will ever be able to stop you. Every single thing you've heard today comes down to one unshakable truth. Life will not hand you anything. You must take it, fight for it, and own it. And that starts by taking it personally. When you shrug things off, when you blame others, when you run from rejection or numb your pain, you hand over the steering wheel of your life. But when you take responsibility, when you decide, this is on me, you step into a place of unbreakable strength. Criticism? Let it fuel you. Doubt? Let it sharpen you. Rejection? Let it raise you higher. Pain? Let it forge you into something unshakable. Every obstacle that comes your way is not meant to weaken you. It is meant to reveal the power you carry inside. But only if you stop treating life as though it's happening to someone else. It is happening to you. Which means it is your job to rise. So here is the challenge. Stop waiting. Stop excusing. Stop hiding. Take every failure, every insult, every hardship, and burn it as fuel to move forward. Own your life so fully that no one else gets to write your story but you. Because in the end, strength is not about avoiding the fire. It's about walking through it and refusing to come out the same. And when you live like that, when you take everything personally enough to turn it into growth, you don't just survive this world, you dominate it. Your life is waiting. The question is, are you ready to take it personally?